Hey guys, my name is Mustafa, and today I'm going to be talking about how the FDA should have stricter regulations. So, what exactly is the FDA? We hear about it all the time, and when it comes to most products we see, what exactly does it mean to be FDA approved? That's a question that I always had for a long time, and I finally did the research and I understand it a little bit better. So, I hope that I can show you guys what I've been looking at, and hopefully it portrays a little good. So, my main points for today are going to be what does the FDA do? How does it affect us, and how can we make it better? Because the FDA does have a big role in our lives that we may not know, but it directly affects us. So let's get into it. The FDA is a department of the U.S. government that overlooks companies and makes sure they're not using products with harmful materials and selling those to us, right? So some of the markets that they're into is food, medicine, vaccines, medical devices, tobacco products, and cosmetics, and some other stuff. So as you guys can see just from that little list, that they do affect us quite a lot. Um, Now let's get into how does it affect us, right? So the FDA is responsible for the quality of everyone's everyday products, right? They make all the rules and regulations that directly affect our day-to-day lives. Um, but a lot of us don't realize how many carcinogenic ingredients are actually being consumed, even with all these rules and regulations in place. For example, food dyes, artificial flavorings, and etc. Let's talk about that, right? Artificial flavorings, that's kind of like a very generic and broad term that's been made by the FDA. Artificial flavorings themselves include over 700 synthetic chemicals, which means human-made chemicals, uh, and many of them are quite harmful to consume, right? According to the FDA's Code of Federal Regulation, Title 21, processed food manufacturers aren't even required to identify these ubiquitous compounds on product labels. So they could literally be putting anything into there and consider it artificial flavoring, and they're not required to tell us. Companies have no, the people that are supposed to be overseeing them are the ones that are letting everything go through, right? Um, Also, a 2012 research paper by UCLA scientists reported that all of the 9 currently US approved food dyes raise health concerns of varying degrees. Specifically, red 3 causes cancer in animals. Uh, and then there's 3 dyes, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6, which have been found to be contaminated with benzidine. What benzidine is uh, it's a material that causes cancer. It's actually banned from FDA and it's no longer used, but they still have dyes that are contaminated with them. And then at least 4 dyes, blue 1, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6, cause hypersensitivity reactions. So there was a research conducted where a scientist gave kids foods that had dyes and foods that didn't have dyes, and he saw that they gave off much more hyperactive. They were much more hyperactive than kids that weren't consuming dyes. Um, Also, I just wanted to talk about something called GRAS. A lot of us have never heard of this, right? I personally didn't hear about it before I started looking into it. It's kind of like a loophole for companies, right? The FDA made this law or rule in 1958, which GRAS means generally recognized as safe. So pretty much all of the materials that were being used before 1958 would be exempt from new laws, which means that even if there are scientific findings and whatnot, like the FDA is not going to be banning them anytime soon. So, like I mentioned, the food dyes and the artificial flavorings, majority of them are from before 1958, and they're kind of divided into 2 groups, right? Group 1 is something that was already being used, and the FDA said that it was okay to use. And then there's group 2, which means experts saw that over time it was okay to use. So group 2 is a little bit more, they got a little bit more rapport among people, right? But those group one items are the ones that we should really be looking out to. So, what I would like to recommend for how we can get the FDA to do better going on is that they should get rid of this GRAS system that they have, right? Because we should definitely get an update, because since 1958, that's a long time. It's been well over 60 years and they're still using the same list. I think that they should update that list and get rid of that grass, and by doing so we will have a much healthier product market, right? Things won't be, we'll have less cancer in the world and whatnot, well, at least in America. And because of that, we would be able to live much healthier lives. So I just want to thank you guys for listening, and today we did talk about the FDA and how we should improve their regulations. Thank you.